It should go without saying that most of the memes in the meme segment is going to be about what happened at the Oscars with Chris Rock and Will Smith. So, like, don't complain that most of it is about the current thing. That's just how the meme pool works. I know that sounds cringe, but I made a video talking about the meme pool about a year ago that you'd need to watch to understand what I mean by the meme pool. But anyway, this go on Monday, the 28th of March 2022. I didn't have much that I could do in moving image because I needed to refilm 2 scenes. One of them I'd already refilmed, the other one I hadn't. So I edited in the bit that I did refilm. And there are a couple of things. I was trying to see if I could put an intermission by Blur, but I couldn't. It just didn't work. Yeah. So I spent most of my time in moving image just doing. On our iPads there's a app for like Fury, and I just kept on like putting on random questions. Yeah, and also I finished Batman Venom. It's good, and Winter Soldier. I didn't like it. I don't even remember why I didn't like it. In English, we were studying a poem called. Well, studying isn't the correct word, but whatever. A poem called "Going for Water," I think it's called. And teacher said, "Oh, does anyone want a Diet Coke? You want to go for a Diet Coke?" And he was serious. So we'll call it Diet Coke. And then we were just studying it in driving. Everything was going fine. I think it was kind of a bit coggy until eventually we went like around to where my brother's school is, and there's a sort of wee village across the road from my brother's school, and I was just going in circles driving around there, and it was terrible. And eventually when we got out, I'm pretty sure like one of the last cars that I saw that went past me in that wee village was the head of year. But I'll need to ask him tomorrow if that was actually him. Anyway, this is memes as of 22 to 7 p.m. I don't have a problem playing this because it's a cover. Give me a second, I need to get my story straight. My friends are in the bathroom getting higher than the Empire State. My lovers. I love fun, but I didn't even know that the lyrics go, "My lover is waiting for me," and "My lover, she is waiting for me." Whatever. This might contain any copyright material. I have no problem playing that because it's just that for Blaze guy beatboxing that someone has remixed. Yeah. To learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. Jada Pinkett Smith's bald head. Fortnite kids and furries fighting about who's more annoying. Fortnite kids take the crown on this one. Probably just because there's more Fortnite kids than there are furries. And people say Fortnite's dead for some reason. Anyway, Walter making the math. That's why I saved this. That's great. Pacifists, when they go to war, and it's just cool guys with guns and instead of pain and suffering.
I'm cleaning my goddamn room because I just spent money on pods, and I can't fucking find the pods. And fucking now my nightstand has a drawer in it, and I put a bunch of shit in that drawer, and I just cleaned it out, and now it smells like a fucking empty pillowcase and fucking silly string. I am angered right now.
Yeah, I can tell.
The beast is soon enough going to be unleashed. If I don't, if
No
my
way.
fucking
You
headset,
just said that.
and then my freaking headset won't stay on my fat ass head, I won't play no more.
What?
I can't find them.
Oh my god.
Can you? Tonight is not the night.
Just don't do what Joel's or whatever. Like, as simple as that. Will Smith slapping Chris Rock then at Ukraine Corona. Peter Parker saved Will Smith slapped Chris Rock in their universe too. Well, we can finally phase out that Batman meme. Will Smith before realising Jada was pissed about the joke. Yeah, I'll get into this at the end of the meme segment. Me just woke up. Doctor telling me I only have 24 hours to live. Me used 48-hour protection deodorant. Will Smith slaps Chris Rock. Meanwhile, Andrew Garfield checking the memes to see if they're trending. Yeah, I'm sick and tired of seeing this in my feed. You know, using images and you can immediately tell. The reason why you can immediately tell is because how spammed it is that it's the beat to We Will Rock You by Queen. This one is, it's different. Not just because of the slap, but also the fact that instead of just using a Rock or Dwayne Johnson, it's Chris Rock now. Girl is a note in the Xbox saying this isn't working, you turn it on, it's fine. My teacher's talking about acceptance of gays and the religious kid starts raising his hand. Okay, now let's get to my opinion. So, I've done a little bit of research, looked at videos and all that. And so, what happened was that Jada Pinkett Smith, who is Will Smith's wife, she has a condition that causes baldness. So, she is bald. And Chris decided to make a joke out of that by saying, I can't wait for G.I. Jane 2. Because the main character in G.I. Jane is a bald woman. So then Will Smith gets up and slaps Chris. And you don't actually see this in the American broadcast because in the American broadcast, they actually muted the audio. But in foreign broadcasts, Will shouts to Chris twice, keep my wife's name out of your mouth. And I will play him saying that later. So that's the facts from what I know. Now we're going to get into my opinion. So, Chris shouldn't have made that joke. That was a very poor taste, you know. He shouldn't have made that joke. But it was even worse for Will to slap Chris. Surprisingly, it takes, he thought you searched up Will, and then it would immediately, pre-fill to Will Smith, Chris Rock. Let's try Chris Rock. See, it takes a while. It's just surprising me. So, yeah, I think the Telegraph will do.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Notice the fact that Will laughed at that. You know, your wife is bald. Ha ha ha. And, you know, Jada's holding a smirk, at the very least. And that's what that meme was like, where it said before he realized that Jada was pissed. Because he seems to have found it funny, and even after he slapped him, still seemed like he was smiling.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out of
That was not a nice one, Chris.
here. Uh-oh, Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, now he seems pissed. But right after slapping him,
Oh, wow. Wow.
he seems quite proud of himself.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
I really don't want to do this, but I don't think I have a choice because I'm going to seem a bit hypocritical if I don't. Well, you're not King Richard. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm trying to think of his most badass character. I was about to say Neo, but no. You're not Deadshot. I know Suicide Squad was terrible, but like Deadshot is a badass when he's not Will Smith. But you know, you're not Deadshot. Don't try and act like you're tough. You're just an actor. The reason why I haven't seen my hypocrite for not saying that is because that's exactly what I said about Tom Cruise's run on the Mission Impossible set. And actually, it seems to me, based off the fact that he laughed initially, that Will Smith has become a simp. Especially since he was crying when Jada told him that, you know, she was cheating on him and all that. But now he's defending. I don't want to say the word defending because she wasn't really under attack, but you get what I mean. Oops, accident, I took a screenshot. I don't know if I said this yet or not, but another thing I heard was that it was someone commented on a video of it saying, obviously staged. I don't think it is, because I mean, if it were, then, like, I don't know if, I'm guessing the LAPD went up to Chris Rock and said, do you want to press charges? And he said no. I feel like while it is possible that it could have just said, oh, I said no to them, when in reality he said, oh yeah, it was just a skit. You know, we were sort of cooperating to do that, the break news. I don't think that's what happened, though. Anyway, this is Twitter as of 15 past 7 p.m. And once again, there was a lot. I'm already out of breath. One of the best things I ever heard on the internet was apparently double leg amputees were average/below average height before the accident. Almost always ask for prosthetics be made longer than they need, so they can start around at 6'7". Long kid talisman renders the wearer immune to fall damage. So that was a lie. If you want to be immune to fall damage, just play AC Odyssey and reach level 20. Simple as that. And I have a fire pit chainsaw. strimmer, a pressure washer, and a pizza oven. What other essential dad item do I need next? Just sleep in front of the telly, then claim you're watching it if anyone changes the channel. Sadie attempted her first party, had too much apple juice, barman cut her off, cops called. I can't decide if Sadie is large or Sue is tiny, or maybe both. Sue was tall tonight, she had her big platform boots on. I mean, that baby's probably over half the height of Sue. Sue's tiny? She's like 4 foot nothing. So, this guy is CEO of a company that buys houses, and what he does is that like basically the houses are pre-set, like pre-made. So I don't know if this goes for most houses or not, but like you buy a house and it's probably empty unless you decide to buy everything that was included in the sort of like when you go to look at a house with a realtor and all, there'll be stuff in there, but as far as I know, like as soon as you buy it, all that stuff gets moved out. But the way this guy runs things is that if you buy it, everything that's in the house is yours, because he's selling lifestyles. He said that most of our audience are millennials, and millennials don't really want to own a house or a car. They want a lifestyle. We sell them lifestyles. So basically, a young person who doesn't really understand what they are, and I don't mean like sexually or anything like that. What I mean is they don't know if they're rebellious, conformant, goth, whatever the opposite of goth is, etc. So this guy sells you the lifestyle, basically. So young people don't want homes. Imagine even thinking you could get away with a lie like that. No, I don't think that's a lie. I think that's true. Millennials do not want to own a home. They want to own nothing and be happy. For God's sake. Come on, just let me on this. There we go. Free speech is essential to functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle? No. Not at all. Free speech protects citizens from the government, not meme lords from private companies. Dear person, you have offered no intelligence whatsoever. Everybody knows Twitter is a private company and can do whatever they want, but social media in 2022 is the new public square. When you get banned, you really don't have a voice anymore, do you? The moron. Getting banned on Twitter only leaves you with Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Tumblr, Snapchat, and 1,000 other social media apps. Acting as public squares. I'm getting silenced. Wang more. Alex Jones would like a word. Because Alex Jones was banned off of, like, think of a website. They probably banned Alex Jones, and they all did it within, like, a few hours of each other. Like, I'm not saying this is what happened, but it's as if all the companies collided together and decided to ban Alex Jones. Like, LinkedIn banned him when he hadn't used his LinkedIn account in years. Also, while it is true that just getting banned off Twitter doesn't mean that your space is gone, Twitter is the most political website. Like, yeah, I put politics on my Instagram and my YouTube, but imagine putting politics on Snapchat. The man with the syndicated cross-country radio show, a massive self-hosted website. No, the man that all of the above companies literally colluded all together to all ban on the same day, rendering the above guy's point worthless. And the only reason he has all the things you described is because he had the money to build a literal radio tower. Man literally just said, bruh, just be like a millionaire and build radio towers and crap. There are protections. It's called Section 230. Suckmed were not liable for things he said or posted. Thanks, I'm not American, so I wasn't familiar with that. I find the collusion troubling, but ultimately I'm all for allowing platforms to self-censor. Every discussion of free speech I've had is usually prefaced by the idea that free speech prohibits government silencing, but doesn't guarantee a microphone. I don't accept that social media has reached a level such that it's comparable to the town squares. For the last 2 years, social media became the prime and only way for the entire world to communicate because everyone was locked fast. Pretty much government new town square by government mandate and having essentially a global town square where the content is controlled by a few square miles in Silicon Valley is the potential to shift public opinion via a platform bias in a way never thought achievable. Facebook's own very controversial experiments proved that this isn't just possible, it was actually very easy. But the main thing about this is if things were the other way around and Silicon Valley was located in Mississippi, I know all of you would be singing a very different tune. I don't know what Mississippi is like. I'm going to guess that they're not very, but more conservative than California is, because California is probably the most liberal state in America. Anyway, when Visa and MasterCard can literally debank you from being able to run your business and website, and all these megacorps work together or are owned by the same company, and the whole just makes your own site thing is retarded. Excuse me. I used to not care about when I did that, or I used to care about when I did that in my videos, so I was like, I am so sorry. But now I just don't care. I'm gonna say sorry now. It's another one that are pretty much the two only card providers worldwide. If they cancel you, then you're screwed. Why is Marcus saying this at 4 in the morning? Like, I'm just trying to imagine, like, say it's 10 o'clock. And they've put Sadie to sleep at, let's say, about 7. I don't know when babies go to sleep. And, it was fine for a couple of hours, but then Sadie woke up crying, so Marcus had to get up. And then, put her back to sleep. Then Sadie starts crying again. Sue gets up and does the same thing, and they go back and forth until 4 in the morning, where Mark decides, screw it, I'm just going to stay up and go on Twitter and get an argument about this. Meanwhile, Sadie is still crying in the background. Anyway. Only way for the... I'm not going to voice or whatever. Only way for the entire world to communicate. Why do people say stupid crap like this? You're mistaking free speech for having a huge megaphone. Private business don't owe you that. Nobody does, not even the government. Are you trying to say that Twitter isn't the new soapbox? Because it is. Like, it's not a thing that really should be up for debate. It literally is. Speaking of stupid crap, let me address your statement. Simply having a social media account isn't a huge megaphone. I could go make a brand new Twitter right now. It would have 0 followers. Literally no one sees me tweets. Equals not even close to a huge microphone. What social media gives you is the ability to earn a megaphone. Your reach comes from you earning the interest of other people to the point where they follow you and want to hear more. In other words, your megaphone comes from other individuals choosing themselves whether or not to follow you and listen to what you have to say. Social media simply gives you the tools with which to do it. It's like I give a guy a shovel, he takes it and goes and finds a bunch of gold. Can I tell them he now has no right to that gold? Maybe I could if I found out he called someone a bundle of sticks on MySpace in 2008. I like that. Bundle of sticks. Like, a word for bundle of sticks is faggot. So that's what he means. Having a social media account itself is not having a huge megaphone. That comes from people, through their own free speech and free choices, choosing to listen to you. By you then saying, actually, we don't like this guy, so we're going to prevent the population from being able to hear him speak, means that you're not only anti-free speech anti-freedom association and anti-free will, but you actually believe in controlling the free flow of information because it doesn't fit with your own personal interpretation of what the world should be like. Meaning, not only would that make you extremely selfish, but probably one of the most arrogant and self-centered people on earth. Social media companies are not legally obligated to let you have an account. You still have free speech. One thing has nothing to do with the other. Do you understand that? Man, we only just started and you have already whipped out the empty room fallacy. Private entities don't owe you that ability. Do you understand that you still have free speech and Twitter isn't the only way to communicate? How far are you willing to take that statement? All the way. People communicated before, and still, without social media, do you realise how stupid it is to say it's the only way to communicate? All the way. Glad to hear it. Let's say a shop in your town has a sign outside that said no colours. You're okay for them to do that? You're okay for them to that then? Okay, I think that's Marcus's mistake and not me. I don't mean approve of it. You disrespect their right. Your appeal to emotion means nothing. You would just... Yeah, exactly. Translation. I don't have an argument against what you said. Just answer the question. If a shop said no black people, would you support their right to do that? In fact, I don't think they have a right, but you know what I mean. The state of argument and the other response, we are talking about racism, we're talking about free speech, and your idiotic claim that social media is the only way to communicate. By contrast, when a private entity provides a form of speech, the private entity is not ordinarily constrained by the First Amendment because the private entity is not a state actor. The private entity may thus exercise editorial discretion over the speech and speakers in the forum. I feel like classy speech was just invented to screw with the contemporary generation. Anyway, my argument is simple. Social media is not the only way to communicate, as you stupidly claimed. They have a 1A right to ban the speech they want, and this does not silence anyone. Everyone that's banned is free to speak elsewhere. Still going with the empty room fallacy, but I thought you said you were happy to take it all the way, so why are you now sweating and ignoring it now it's been taken all the way? Empty room fallacy isn't a thing. There are forms that are white only. That's not a 1A violation. Are you just going to pretend my statement never happened? I'm just going to keep asking you until you respond. If a shop in your town hung up a coloured sign, would you respect their right to do that? You're triggered because I called out your stupid claim that social media is the only way to communicate. Your illogical hypotheticals are irrelevant. I have no argument against them, so I'll just call them triggered. GG, WP, pick up your L on the way out. I've already read that out. I'm not reading that again. In fact, right. Let's go back to my original reply and answer my original question. Why do people say stupid crap like social media is the only way to communicate? Why didn't you just answer the question? You mean this? I'm afraid doesn't in any way at all address or refute my argument. So can you address or refute it? I think your complete avoidance of it means you can't, but it's fun watching you shake. Your argument does not logically follow the discussion. There's nothing to refute. Whatever. I am not reading all that. Twitter's now actually suppressing hashtag #FightYouLie dog side in favor of the current created trends. So, I'm just going to quickly explain what happened with Fauci and the dogs. Anthony Fauci is the sort of top guy in America when it comes to the coronavirus. And he was caught, harming dogs, killing dogs. for science, for research purposes, which is, I feel like there's a bunch of movies where that's the villain's goal. I know real life isn't a movie, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that's Twitter's First Amendment, right? You're free to stop using them if you don't like it. This court ruling explains it. Twitter's only free speech lets them choose not to listen to you on their private property. You still have free speech elsewhere. Again, how far are you willing to take that statement? All the way. People communicated before and it's still by social media. Do you realize how stupid it is to say it's the only way to communicate? Do you realize how stupid it is to not understand the human need for social interaction based on social media sites with lots of people? I understand that. Do you understand how stupid it is to say it's not the only way to communicate? This simply not true, not factual at all. You don't need the town square. You can go in the dark, empty alley over there. You can talk in there. I love you types. You act like experts on freedom of speech, yet know almost nothing about it. I do this for a living, can you tell? Why are you ignoring my question? No, don't share. I don't agree that it reached that level, and even if I did, I don't think an extraordinary situation serves as a good basis to evaluate policy. I'm open, however, for rules against collusion across multiple networks and also stricter rules against financial institutions. I still don't think even those protections are required from constitutional basis, which, to be fair, no one claimed, but as a matter of public policy, they have merit. It's mostly a case of a massive amount of the online discourses happening in spaces where a few shady people are able to manipulate the information they have access to, which over time can program them towards certain political opinions, in this case the left-wing ones. There have always been significant barriers to information dissemination and control by few in the pre-internet era. You had either newspapers and or large TV radio stations as the methods to spread info beyond your social influence, which are largely owned by a few cores. Probably one at a time with very high barrier of entry, very clear political and commercial bias. That wasn't great in the control of the vast portions of social media by a few individuals or corporations also wasn't great, but I don't think it's in any way novel. That's very true. Then the internet came along and it was this beautiful, amazing wild west of information. Whistleblowers could reach thousands. Government corruption could be sent worldwide. It was glorious. Then it rained and just like the papers. As for novel, I think it's probably one of the biggest issues of the modern information age. Facebook experiments prove that it is extremely effective in swaying public opinion. For example, towards elections. Not a fan of democracy would call me crazy. The idea that a few square miles in Silicon Valley has the power to swing entire elections all over the world is a little bit scary to me. If banning conservatives isn't an issue, you think preserving democracy would be? People are screaming about Elon Musk and free speech. All I'm going to say is, I know for a fact that Elon wouldn't have tried to send me to jail for a joke. He probably would have laughed. Except that's not all you're going to say because you've been saying all this. I'm really starting to hate Marcus, man, and I really don't want to hate Marcus, man. Untag. No, you will listen to my 5 a.m. schizo ramblings. What am I still doing talking to Daniel King anyway? I mean, he's retired. You know, it doesn't mean that he can't get involved with stuff like this, but still. I don't know, we know TV could change elections, things like Dean Screamer, Nixon Kennedy debate, newspapers certainly did as well. I guess the question is whether there was a comparable level of coordination and control with how large some of these media companies got, maybe. I wouldn't call the Dean Screamer Nixon Kennedy debate manipulation. I would say they were the purest form of how information should be. People saw the literal events themselves with their own eyes, made up their own minds, and drew their own conclusions. If it was done like we edited out all of Kennedy stuff here, the best bits from Nixon, then it would be, well, like social media companies. Yeah, I didn't mean to show that as manipulation, just reaching part of platforms regarding manipulation. I guess the thing I would point to is syndication, massive purchasing of local news by a few big media companies and concentration of media generally. Yeah, but we've learned about this in media. News Corp owns Fox News, Wall Street Journal, New York Post. Google owns YouTube and Google News. National Amusements owns Viacom, CBS, MTV, BET. Comedy Central and Paramount Pictures. I wouldn't be worried about National Amusements owning Black Entertainment Television. And I'm not kidding, that's what BET stands for. Verizon owns Yahoo News and Huffington Post. I wouldn't worry about Huffington Post, they're losing money. I'm going to guess that says CPP owns NPR, PBS, and local news. Disney owns ABC, Fox, 20th Century Fox, ESPN, Nat Geo, History Channel, Hulu, Marvel, and Pixar. Again, I wouldn't be worried about Marvel and Pixar because, well, they do have some political stuff there. It's not really political, if you know what I mean. AT&T/Warner Media owns CNN, HBO, Warner Brothers, TMZ, and Cartoon Network. Wouldn't be worried about TMZ because they're just gossip. They don't really cover real news. And Cartoon Network, I haven't really seen much of their stuff, but as far as I know, they don't really do anything political. Comcast owned NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox, Telemundo, Universal Studios, and BuzzFeed. Once again, BuzzFeed, it tries to be news, but it's really just gossip and stuff like this is a genuine article that they made. What Starbucks coffee are you, depending on your zodiac sign? That's like, cancers are pumpkin spice and stuff like that. Like this.
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest